this up a little bit? So
Oh, no, we can move that too.
Probably a good one. So how, I mean, that's a good one.
Okay with us? Just a slide? I know, but is that, for Octavia's sake, is what's clipping just a little more?
I don't know, like I don't know later on.
Can't remember? All right, I'll run up if need be. All right, yeah, should be fine.
If you're ready to start off, pick the next thing.
Well, I think we can start. It's 6:30, so it's sort of officially time to begin. I'll let a couple of people wonder. Okay, good evening, everyone. Feels it's light outside. It's hard to imagine that it's actually evening now, but it's summertime. And we've got a lot that's going on, so thanks for everyone for turning out. If you did not sign in when you came in the door, would you mind signing in when you go out, just so we have everybody's contact information as well? I guess we will have the official call to order of the meeting, and I know that I have reviewed the minutes from last month's meeting, and if I could get a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting, little bureaucracy, thank you so much, Nancy. Okay, I second the motion. Minutes are approved, thank you. I'm not sure I can second the motion. I did anyway. The first thing that I want to talk about is Spring Clean Day. Last Saturday, this was fun and a success story all rolled into one. We had between the Prospect Preserve at the Street and Park and the North Beach Park and people working in the business district, we had over 50 people show up and started out, and we did a fantastic job on the main business district. It looked, and still does look, way better than it did before. About 3 hours after we had swept and cleaned and scooped and weeded, the windstorm came in, and a lot of the little prickly seed pods from the sweet gum trees started scattered all over the street.
So when are we going back?
Bert would like to do it every week, if people want to join Bert. Every 2 weeks? Okay, maybe, but we will plan for sure on doing this again in the fall. The city provided a number of tools for us and jackets, and they came through and picked up about probably 40 bags of yard waste and trash and in that afternoon. So it made a huge difference. Kevin was going around trying to deal with some of the graffiti and mess on some of the signs, which also brings me to, since we're talking about cleanup, there is a graffiti issue that we have down here, and Claire James has been trying to work with the city to get some movement on that. We did a find it, fix it, and they came and replaced a number of the dumpsters that are down near the pier. Unfortunately, I think a number of them have now been graffitied again. So it seems to be a cycle of dealing with that. But Claire and Claire's going to address a few other things, but we are going to meet with someone from the mayor's office about the graffiti issue and a few other issues, and really try and get a consistent response from the city to see if we can. I think if we get everything cleaned up, getting the street cleaned up, I think was a great first step. And as long as we're making everything look beautiful, I think it helps to sort of tamp down the repetition of graffiti and some of the other issues that we have. So that then brings me to beautify Madison Park. Do I have this in order?
Monthly subscribers, newsletter.
Okay, I'm happy to go there too. This is a first, by the way, of us having the agenda on the screen, and thank you, Kevin Larkin and Cam Preston, for helping us put this together. If I would just follow the routine, it would probably work better, but I'm just learning how to do this. One thing that I think I bring up every time that we meet is a really wonderful way to support Friends of Madison Park is 2 ways, well, 3 ways. Way number 1 is subscribe to our newsletter. You can go on the website, and on the front page, if you scroll down the page, you can see that there's a place to sign up for our monthly, well, actually, I've been doing it bi-weekly, newsletter that lets you know what's coming up, that lets you know what's going on, that lets you know when we have volunteer needs, when we have campaigns that we're working on. So please sign up for the newsletter. It is our easiest way to reach as many people as we can. The other thing is we are, in order to continue to bring events and work on projects, we need a pretty continual flow of income, because there's a pretty continual flow of outcome. And I'm not, yeah, and I'm obviously not an accountant either, but if you can sign up as a monthly subscriber, you can do it for $10, $15, $25, and it just means that we have a steady source of funding for our events. We have, at this point, I think about 20 people who are monthly subscribers. I would love, love, love to see that increase. And then the third way, I would say, is to support Friends of Madison Park, is to volunteer. And what was so fun was, and I think everybody would agree, that was at the spring cleanup, it was fun. Everybody had a good time. It was really fun to work together. There was a decisive outcome at the end that felt really good. So for every event that you get involved in, there is a great feedback, a great benefit to you as well. So we have a number of events. We are very busy right now. We have a number of events coming up, and different people are gonna discuss those. We need probably 20, 25 more volunteers to help with the garden tour. We need about 15 more volunteers to help with Second Chance Prom that is coming up. We need volunteers to help for music in the park and children's parade and picnic. So while everybody is sitting here, I'm going to pass around a little check sheet. If you can put your name, email, contact information, and if there's something that you think you'd be interested in helping with, then if you would just mark an X in one of those spots. That would be great. That is hugely helpful to us. Okay, financial report. Okay, now I am following. Thank you. I just need to peek around the corner. Diane, unfortunately for us, fortunately for her, she's in Hawaii this month, so our treasurer isn't here right now. But she gave a pretty detailed report the last time she was here. We had taken in about $48,000 last year, and we had spent about half that on different events. Right now, I actually checked today, we have $27,548.48 in the bank account. We have a number of expenses that are coming up, and I'll detail some of those before tomorrow, later in the evening. I'm not sure if anyone has any questions, or if I could answer them from looking at the financial report, but I'm sure Emily. Okay, what do I have up there? Oh, Ashley. Is Ashley in the hall? Yes. Well, this is Ashley Hall in the hall. So one of the things that we want to do each month is to introduce some of the businesses that are down here that may be tucked away or that you're not aware has come into the neighborhood, either into the flats or into Arboretum Court or into Madison Valley, because we take advantage of all those businesses. I've known Ashley for a good while, and I was so delighted to see her A-board down here a few months ago. She is in the building, I don't know what the name of the building is.
That's a very good question. I don't know it myself.
Well, I think of it as the Caldwell Banker Bain building, because that's in the pizza building.
Pizza building.
So,
Triangle building.
Ashley,
Called the Triangle Building.
Oh, the Triangle
I
Building.
also call it that.
Okay.
But I didn't know if it had an actual name.
So Ashley, come up and tell them.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley. As you can see, I no longer have purple hair. But if you come up and I do have a color, don't be surprised, because I do things on a whim like that. I have been a part of the neighborhood on and off for 7 years. Literally moved to Seattle and landed in Madison Park. I was blessed enough to work at City Fest. Yes, thank you. And I agree, which is why I came back really quickly after during COVID anyway. So I started off at City Sweats, and that's how we met, and some of you else may be in here. I'm a massage therapist first. I have been blessed to be in this neighborhood and grow my business, and so just a forewarning, getting on my books can take up to 2 months. I am not fully booked out yet, but with things that juggle around, we will probably get in a little faster than the 2 months, because I have blocked Fridays, because I'm also a sound bowl practitioner, which means I do sound healing. I've just recently been certified in it, and I've started doing that, but seeing as that is new, it has not started booking up quite as quickly yet, and so my board doesn't even say that I do that, so I thought it would be nice, and so did Octavia if I came and told you a little about all those things. I'm also a private yoga instructor, which is why I'm dressed in my yoga gear, because I'm literally just coming from a class. I do teach that on Zoom at the moment, and I just teach my clients if they need extra help outside of being worked on. So I call it the breakdown build-up. So I break down the issues with your fascia that create chronic problems, and then I'll build you up and teach you things that can stretch yourself out at home in more of a yin and myofascial stretch. Myofascial means that it works your fascia, which, sorry if you're vegan, if you peel back skin off of chicken, you see that see-through film. That is what fascia is. It is that connective tissue that attaches your skin to your muscle and everything else in between. And it is so major that they're finding out that it is innervated, and it's on a cellular level. And that means that it has a mind and body connection. So a lot of issues that may have happened from, say, a physical trauma might actually create a mental issue or imbalance, or vice versa. And so there are many ways that are coming out now that have the ability to work that. From a massage standpoint, I do cupping, cranial sacral therapy, and myofascial release, which is more of a lengthening and stretching of the fascia in that manner, which everybody loves because they're like, oh, stretch the neck, stretch the back. And cupping everybody loves, except for the marks that it can leave behind. I'm sure a lot of you have seen athletes wearing the big red marks, that they're really just big hickeys. From a sound bowl standpoint, because we're finding that there's such a mind-body connection, what the sound bowls do is they relax your mind so much through a process called entrainment, which I'll explain in a second, that it allows your fascia to relax your body. Once your fascia is no longer holding you like what I like to call a helicopter mom, I hope everybody knows that reference. So if you've hurt yourself, helicopter moms are gonna always hover and be like, I need to protect, I need to protect, I need to protect. So we start walking around like this. So essentially, I relax your fascia, playing the sound bowls, and you have what's referred to as a parasympathetic nervous system response. That is the part of your body that allows you to go into relaxing, rest, and digesting, as opposed to fight or flight, which most of us have every day thanks to stress. Okay. So I play the sound bowls right now privately, but I am actually currently in conversation to try and get into Transform 180, which is the recently taken over Denali. And hopefully I'll be able to do more of a group performance for everybody in there. Okay, and I will give links to Octavia and try and come and visit again. It's a little precarious to come at this time because I'm normally teaching yoga at this time, which is why you haven't seen me in here before. Yes?
Where are you located in the triangle?
Right beside you.
Okay.
But 4227 2C. So I'm in 2C, which is on the second floor, right smack dab in the middle. Do I have any other questions?
And Ashley's A-board is right on the corner of the triangle building. That's great, yes, and Lisa.
That's
All
awesome.
right. Thank you. And I can attest. So, all right, what am I supposed to do with this? Okay, thank you. Yes. So, Michael Casillas is gonna come up and talk to you about what we're doing about bringing flowering containers to the neighborhood. You can go ahead.
All right, so we're doing a project called Beautify Madison Park. So what that is we're gonna have these big planters, and they're gonna have beautiful flowers all up and down the business district. And in order to do this, what we're doing is we're doing it as a fundraiser. And so all of us have the opportunity to sponsor a planter. Or if you want to get creative, you could get like your neighborhood or your street to all pitch in together to do a planter. I know some of the folks at Red Onion that frequent the Red Onion have got together and they're looking to sponsor one as well. And a lot of the business owners and the building owners in the area have graciously donated. And at the end of the day, we want to have about 20.
Yes, in the fall, by the fall.
In the fall, yeah. So to have 20 plus planters, we're well on our way. We have about 5 that have been fully sponsored, and we have varying levels that you can sponsor. If you sponsor an entire one, there's a little dedication name plaque. So my wife and I, for example, are sponsoring one in memory of my parents who passed recently. And just a lovely way to honor them. So I want to encourage all of you to get involved. And again, another, just a fun idea is I think, is to get a group of people together to do one collectively. So it could be fun to walk by and see your sponsored planter. Yes?
Who's maintaining them, or is there a gardener that's gonna go around and take care of these?
So we've gotten a couple of bids and one bid that has actually come through but yes, we hope to hire someone to maintain them.
And then are you changing them out seasonally, or?
Yes.
Oh, good, okay,
Yes.
great, thank you.
Did you get like city, I know Octavia put, or
Yes.
did the permitting process or
So
whatever
the
it's called?
permitting process is, as of last Thursday, the last inspection was to happen. So I reached out to the city today. It seemed like we were going through sort of bureaucratic steps as opposed to any objection to what we were proposing, but it just is, with the city, it takes some time. So I submitted probably 2 months ago, and then got feedback a month later that I needed to make these adjustments, which I did. And then there was a field inspector who was supposed to get his report in last Thursday. Yes.
Is that a one-time sponsorship, annual, what does that look like?
It would be a one-time. Now, the sponsorship of one planter is $2,000, and so what that does is it pays for the planter, it pays for all the plants inside, and the maintenance for at least a year. So what we figured is get them in and get them serviced and going, and then we'll probably have to do other fundraisers in the future to continue to maintain.
So what do they look like?
Yes, great question. So there's a drawing on here, so you can grab a flyer, but there's a little drawing. They're about
They're 28 by 28 and 24 inches tall. They're square, they're cubes with a relief on the side. I did put a picture on, I thought I put it on the website, but I know that we have a hand drawing of it. And the idea is, they are black, they are a plastic, a polyethylene that should last forever with a drainage system built into the base. And they'll be weighted down with gravel in the bottom, and then the plantings, there'll be a combination of mainly evergreens with annuals and then bulbs in the fall that will go in the fall, coming out in the early spring. So we will be, for example, doing the annual plantings. We're hoping we can get these in by the end of May. We'll do 10 this year and kind of see how it all goes this spring. And assuming all of that goes well, then we'll bring 10 more in the fall, and that will be covering both sides of East Madison, going through the business district. We also would like to do plantings under some of the younger trees, the big sweet gums. You can't do anything under those. But where there are the crepe myrtles section from How to Cook a Wolf down to McGilchrist, we would be planting black mondo grass under those trees. And also under the trees, the paper bark maples that are between Burt's and Starbucks. So everything would be fully planted and watered regularly.
How tall will the plants be on top of the planter?
You're about right there. That's the tallest. There'll be a backdrop plant. I'm sorry, I don't have the picture,
So
but
your planter's 24 tall, so you get another 12, 18 inches on top of that?
yes, in the center, something sort of narrow,
Yeah.
and then filled in around with, there's a combination of euchras and grasses, and I won't go through botanical names, but there's a combination of things.
So is mondo grass gonna hold up in those squares around the trees?
Should.
People walking out like crazy and then how?
It's one of the few things I feel like you can actually walk on, and dogs are gonna probably pee on, and,
You know,
yeah. So, I mean, this is a bit of a trial
Yeah,
with
okay.
what works, but it sure beats the weeds and the trash and stuff that goes underneath the trees. So it's a little bit of a try.
I would love to solicit some people, but where do I go to get the information and how do they donate?
Great question. So there are flyers up here, and on the flyer, there's a QR code that takes you to the website where you can donate directly. And then there's different levels of donation, and really any amount. Someone could give $5, it doesn't matter. But yeah, there it is. So feel free to grab one of these.
And on our homepage, you'll see this picture on our homepage, on our website, and you can just click onto the picture, and that'll take you to the donate page. What we are going to have, and hopefully in the next 2 or 3 days, is that you'll be able to have specific amounts that you can click a button and contribute that amount as well. Yes.
So the idea is they're all the same. They're
They
not,
are.
if you sponsor one, you don't get to decide you'd rather have rose bushes or something.
No.
Okay, okay, so that's good.
Yes.
And rose bushes are nice, but.
And I also should say that the flyer shows that if you contribute the $2,000, there is a plaque. But you can do a co-sponsor, we can have 2 plaques. So, for example, if you do have a group and you raise $1,000, there will be 2 plaques for 2 $1,000 accumulated donations. Did I see another hand? Anyway, I think it's something we're really excited about. You know, it kind of in step with what we've done with the spring clean and making the business district look inviting and beautiful all year round. And we
Great,
do
great.
and this, and I would also say this is kind of phase 1, phase 2, phase 1 this spring, phase 2 in the fall. If this is successful, we have our sights kind of going beyond that, but let's see how we do with these first 2 phases. Okay, what am I supposed to talk about next? Okay, thank you. Public safety. We have a number of issues to address, so Cam and Claire may want to come up too, because I know Claire was in touch with the city today.
Oh, cool, awesome. All right, for me, a relatively quick public safety update. Really just a few things. So we're working on this concept of bollards to protect some of the businesses in the neighborhood, but we're having to kind of navigate working with the city on that to try to get the funds and obviously the approval and everything. So that's early stages, but it is something that we're thinking about. We're also talking about the idea of who can we leverage or get in the ear of to get a crosswalk between here and across the street. Because obviously in the summertime, families coming down, even just those of us walking around the neighborhood, that can be a super dangerous intersection with people whipping around, especially, you know, after about dinner time.
Question, you said a word that I didn't quite catch.
Bollard,
Thank you.
that's the one, yeah. So you know when you go to Target, they've got those giant red concrete balls out front,
Got it.
right, that are like their logo?
This is
That's
to prevent the car from crashing. through the
exactly right,
plastic.
that's an example of a bollard. You know, planters are awesome, they're gonna make the neighborhood look good, they're not gonna stop anybody from driving a stolen U-Haul through the
Yeah,
front of the business.
Just for example.
Exactly, for example, so bollards, yeah, are gonna be like a steel jacketed concrete post that's set into the ground that no one can move and hopefully vehicles can't ram through, so that's,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
I just kinda shot through that, I didn't
You
even think
did,
about
and I was like,
I'm in my own safety world. In addition to the crosswalk from the beach, I know we've also got some neighbors who are researching the idea of private security. I don't know where that's gonna go, but we are going to meet with them and talk about what that might look like and what the costs involved would be. I don't think that's necessarily something Friends of Madison Park would sponsor or be able to pay for, but if neighbors wanna get together and do that, I think that's an interesting idea. So we are looking into that as well. And then, my big cool thing, which I'm excited about, is we are going to launch a business connection tool on WhatsApp. So we can connect, not really the neighborhood and the businesses, because that's basically next door, but give the businesses a way to talk to each other about best practices, if any of them wanna get together and split cost on security, or cameras, or
Yeah.
some kind of monitoring system. Just a way so they've got a place they can all talk to each other, and then also if something's happening, they can report it immediately to other business owners. So more to come on that, we're just kind of figuring out how that's gonna look, yeah.
Did the jeweler have cameras?
I believe
Yes, it
the
is.
jeweler had
We
cameras.
definitely have cameras
Yes.
inside. They have video photos of who the people were, but,
The perps.
but.
They had masks on?
No,
No?
no. That's, and, I mean, that's part of it at the attic, when they broke into the attic, they could see exactly what the people look like, and, but nothing really seems to come of it.
Right, so this is more about connecting neighbors so that people can be proactive and hopefully try to prevent things or warn other people, because we don't know exactly how much of a response we're gonna have from the city. Did you have a question?
Yes,
Yeah.
crosswalks
Yes.
at, McGilvra and Madison.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 crosswalks there.
Okay.
There's some standards on the ones on the west side.
Mhm.
The east side one has been broken down many times.
Okay,
I've called the city, I've done, fine, I fix it many times, it doesn't seem to get happening. So
understood.
that makes.
Like the flag bin, is that what you're
No,
talking
this
about?
is a stand that's out in the middle of the street, you have not turn lane in the middle of the street.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gone down as many times. Yeah.
All right,
Many times goes down, so somebody needs to
Yeah.
maintain that thing.
I think we'll put that on our,
The next thing is the crosswalk at Burt's.
yeah,
Burt's to the bank and Burt's across Madison.
yep,
That light is above there. It's like a light, and lights up to the side of this crosswalk. It doesn't light the ground at all.
mm-hmm,
And something could be done about that, some better lighting onto the crosswalk, because at night you can't see, especially in the wintertime. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's awfully dark
to
there.
be honest, I never even noticed the sign, so it can't.
So the 60-watt bulb doesn't help at all, does it?
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
awesome, good.
I mean, if you're working on that sort of thing, that might be something that would.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. I want this place to look like it's alive and hopping all the time, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, just say, illuminate this crosswalk.
Yeah.
See that there?
Yeah, and everybody's wearing dark colors, you know?
I try to wear white at night.
Blair, hit it.
That's pretty much it. I've got emails out to the city and CC the mayor's office about crosswalks, so I'll add to that list.
Okay.
What you just suggested.
Yeah. Because next time they look at it,
Where did you say that is?
at Burt's going across Madison and also the crosswalk going to the bank. It was very poorly lit.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I mean, the walking from First to the bank is almost,
There's no light.
there's nothing there, yeah. I'll look at it when I leave tonight for sure, but yeah,
Yeah.
awesome, thank you.
Oh,
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, Sarah,
There are 4 of us here and we're part of the hub, so we
come on up.
Oh, okay.
You did it now.
So you have an emergency hub. If there's an earthquake, you're not gonna have any internet. You're gonna come down to the park after you take care of yourself and your neighbors. You're gonna come to the park and we're gonna have radios and we're gonna have information. We're gonna have a way to exchange services. Mary Pat's here, she's part of the radio team. There are 4 of us in the back row who are kind of keeping the hub going. We're gonna have we will be having a drill in September. You'll see us bothering you at the music at the park. We're gonna be handing out things to make you depressed. It'll just remind you, hey, you should be collecting water in your own home. So if I was only gonna give you one piece of advice, it would be, please buy water and have it dispersed around your home and in your car, like at least a case or 2. You need a gallon a day, each member of your family. Your dog needs, or cat needs like a quarter of a gallon a day. So you gotta have it. That's the one thing. We cannot go to the lake. So, okay, I'm off my stool. But so come and join us and pass by our table when we are out for some of the events, sitting there with the pee and the poop, teaching you how to pee and poop during an emergency.
Just what we needed to hear. Thank you. I would also say really quickly that Sarah and I are now going to be having regular meetings with the mayor's office, which is a great thing. One of the representatives from the mayor's office wanted to set this up. So starting in June, we will have what is hopefully will be an effective pipeline to the mayor's office with safety issues, with concerns. So, and then another couple of issues that come up tonight that I'll share with you all as well. So, okay, next is, Second Chance Prom.
All right. Yeah, for those of you who haven't heard, like, like 6 months ago, Grace blurted something out at a meeting, and Octavia was like, this is the best idea ever. So we're having a second chance prom. That's exactly what happened. It's a weird concept if you're unfamiliar with it, right? But just think of formal party, think back to when you went to prom, or the prom you missed, or the prom you wish you'd had, and imagine this awesome, fun, formal event, live music, cheesy photographs, that whole thing. That's what we're doing for a 21+ audience with drinks. It's gonna be super fun. Yeah, whoa. Yeah, and no chaperones. The way we're laughing and smiling right now is exactly the emotion that we're looking for with Second Chance Prom. So this is gonna be a super fun event. It's happening June 1st from 7 to 11 at the MLK Fame Center, which if y'all don't know is just over the hill by the blinky yellow light, right there in the neighborhood. I don't know, what else do I say to describe it? The theme is gonna be a walk in the clouds, right?
We're going full cheese.
We tossed around a couple of different cheese ball themes, but a walk in the clouds was the winner. So we're gonna have fog machines, we're gonna have balloon clouds, cheesy photographer is gonna have appropriate backdrops. This is further in the agenda, but I'm gonna toss it to Grace right now to explain our signature cocktail.
Yeah, we're doing a signature cocktail, it's a gin cocktail called the Cloud 9, and we're gonna get a little mini cotton candy machine and little clouds on top of your signature cocktail. We'll also have beer and wine and some standard mixers and liquors available, but yeah, we're going full adult prom cheesy with this, so
Yeah.
really excited about that.
And since the last time, oh, yes, please.
What era music?
So we have,
Good question.
great question, I think I was just about to shoot for this. I'll give you that $5 after the show. So an update since the last time we all talked to you is that we now know not only are featuring local superstars, Moxie, the like event and awesome cool wedding band, but also we're gonna have some faculty from the Music Factory come over and do kind of an opening set as a jazz trio. So, jazz trio while everyone's getting their cheesy photographs and drinks, and then we're gonna transition into party band top hits of the 50s through today. So it's gonna be all over the place in terms of genre, but we have a plan with the band for kind of, we're gonna build to everybody wants to dance. So it's gonna be super cool. Last thing I wanna say before I have 2 asks for everybody, is formals and flowers. If you wanna come to prom, if you're gonna tell your friends about this, and your friends wanna come to prom, don't forget, this is everybody else's prom season too, so if you're renting a tux, if you need to order corsages, boutonnieres, anything like that, think about that ahead of time, absolutely. If it's still in the fridge from your actual prom, pop that sucker right back on and let's do it. And then lastly, a couple of asks. So we definitely still need some volunteers. If I got your email, yes, thank you, you guys are in. But we need volunteers to help us take tickets to the door. We need volunteers to bar back a little bit, fill some glasses with ice, get some drinks ready. We need volunteers to just kind of patrol around and clean up whatever we may have. We're hoping to have some finger foods on site donated by local businesses, so hopefully that'll be delicious. But also please make dinner plans because we're not gonna feed you entirely. And then my last ask for everybody is please help us promote. I don't feel like the word is getting out about this event I want everyone to be as excited as I am, right? So we've posted it on various different social media channels and we've put it on some different event sites, but if any of you think this is a cool idea, talk to your friends, help us promote. We've got posters around the neighborhood, the information is on friendsofmadisonpark.com, and we're also, hopefully this week, going to get some posters out in local businesses as well. There's a QR code right on there, you can see it on the image, that's what the poster looks like, but you can scan the QR code, that'll take you right to the ticket buying page. Michael's first.
One of the things we're doing on our street is going to some of our neighbors and inviting them to come with us, but then asking them to invite another neighbor or somebody they know in the neighborhood that maybe we don't know. We're fairly new in the neighborhood, so this is a great way to get to know. And then we're also gonna go to a local restaurant here beforehand, again, to support the neighborhood and just, cause that's the fun part of the prom, was going to dinner first.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we weren't setting the whole thing up, we were literally gonna rent a limo to drive 2 blocks.
And then figuring out whose parents weren't gonna be home.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have an age, like, expectation in terms of?
I don't really, this is the first time we've done this, and like,
21 to
we-
100?
exactly, yeah, that's what we're looking for, yeah, you don't even feel like you still have to cut a rug. You know, the original idea was something that Grace's parents did, you know, and they're like, you know, 40s, 50s, you know what I mean, and it was just, they didn't go to prom together because they met later in life.
Well,
And
and to be a little bit vulnerable, my mom got pregnant with my older sister at 16, and at that time was kind of forced to drop out of high school.
so she
never
didn't go to
got
prom at all. So later she meets this guy and the guy's like all romantic. And they were having an event like this at a local, ballroom or something. And yeah, he just invited his new wife and said, let's go to Second Chance Prom, let's do this.
Awesome idea.
So, yeah, I hope to see you all there,
Mhm.
or at least some of your friends and neighbors.
Yes, thank you.
I think there was another question.
Oh, shoot,
Oh, I just wondered, do you have an 8.5 by 11 poster?
Not yet.
On the website?
hopefully we're going,
Well,
we've got that one.
So this is on the homepage as well. You can click on the picture on the homepage. It'll take you right to signing up for.
I am hoping to
Just meant to print out.
I am hoping to have some printed out this week.
Yes.
Let me know if you want.
Oh, one more thing, I'm so sorry. Can't mention volunteers, we definitely need volunteers. 2 hours of volunteering comes with a free ticket, so if you know anybody who'd like to go, and you're like, I don't know about the ticket price, they can just show up a little bit early and, help us set up, or stay a little late and help us tear down, and we will give them a free ticket if they do so.
The MLK Fame Center, the MLK Fame Center, which is just
Gardens are.
over the middle, leaving Madison Park.
This is gonna be.
By the fire station, you just cut right down to the neighborhood, so. Yep.
Yeah,
30
So the
seconds.
next thing on the agenda is the gardens.
Garden tour.
Garden tour. Coming up very soon on May 18th from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock, thank you. We're having a garden tour down here in Madison Park. We've got about 14 gardens that are gonna be on it. A couple of them are street side gardens. You just walk by, they've done a beautiful job along the street. So, and then most of them are gardens behind the house that we have, that we're gonna have on the tour. So it's gonna be on the 18th. As other people have said, one of the things we do need is we need some volunteers. So if you don't wanna participate, but you know someone that wants to come and help for a couple of hours at one of the gardens, they can also see the gardens for free. So, the plan is we'd love to get a couple of volunteers, at least 3, maybe 4 per household. As an example, we're gonna be hosting our garden ourselves, but we have a couple of friends that we invited over, really good friends of ours, like come hang out with us, then you can go see the gardens, and it just gives us all a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of break. So if you wanna volunteer, please let us know, the sign-up sheet is going around. If you know of someone that you think would like to do this, please have them, reach out to them, have them reach out to us, because we can still use some more volunteers. It's mostly down here on the flat part of Madison Park. We've got 4 that are kind of close to the tennis center. We've got several of them right here, kind of like central Madison Park, and then several of them over in Canterbury. So the distance is not even a mile from the furthest two. So it's all flat. The one thing I need is please send out good vibes, that we have good weather, it can be questionable, so, I think that's everything. Tickets are $20 to see this number of gardens. Actually, it's a really good price to do that. Anyway, I think that's everything. Yes?
Probably everything.
Yeah.
I would say this is the bargain of a life.
Yeah.
To be able to come through and see all these beautiful gardens. And at the same time, so we're gonna be taking tickets or handing out wristbands and a map. Once you've registered, we have a list of everybody who's signing up. And you can sign up the day of, if you're one of those persons who wants to wait to see if it's sunny. You can sign up the day of as well. The other great part is while that's going on in the Bank of America parking lot, there is also a pop-up artisans market that is sort of garden themed, and Ann is gonna tell us about that.
Oh, I was gonna say one other thing, just,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Octavia did a count, and we're just under 100 tickets sold so far, and we still have a few more weeks to go, so we're hoping we get some more. So invite your friends, your family, friends that live in other neighborhoods, get them over here.
It was awesome having the posters for the spring clean day.
Yeah.
People were like buying tickets. They
Oh,
were just
good.
standing there.
That's great to hear.
Question?
And-
Is this a fundraiser as well, so these ticket sales go to the general fund?
Yes, the funds will go to that. This is a pretty low cost, it's less low cost for the people who are volunteering their gardens, because there's a lot of work and cost involved there. But the rest of it is pretty low key and low fund. We didn't expect to, we're not expecting to make a lot of money on this. So if we can make a little bit, that's great. We need every penny we can get for other projects and other events that we want to do, so, yeah, thanks.
Awesome. So at the same time, you guys will check in for the garden tour right there, I think, we're in the parking lot. Well, in the parking lot, there's going to be 15 different artisans there, ranging from jewelry makers, a couple of vintage places. We have a woodworker who does just incredible woodworking. I don't know if any of you went to the pop-up markets that were there during Christmas, when we persevered in the rain, so I'm really hoping there's no rain this time. So it's being expanded this year. We have 2 food vendors, person who does the cutest little cakes ever, and a jam company as well. We've got candles, and everybody's trying to focus some of their goods in a, garden themed thing, so. Decor, so I think it'll be really fun. Please come out and shop. They're all excited to be here and introduce their goods to Madison Park. Awesome. And it'll be the same time, 10 to 3.
All right, I'm up. So my name's Kevin. I'm on the committee, the Community Center Committee. I like to call it the Bathhouse Committee because that's kind of a cool name. I'm going to ask you to kind of bear with me for a second. I want to start with kind of talking about the area history. This area, Madison Park, when before Seattle was formed, was the Duwamish were here and they hunted and they fished. And then in 1850, that's when Seattle was founded. And at that time, or soon thereafter, people started coming down here to actually picnic. And why I'm keep bringing this up is because we're going to talk about how we want this area to become more of a highlight for Seattle. In 1860, after Mr. Judge McGilvra, you guys all know that name, he decided that this place was great. He built his own house down here. It was almost like a compound. And then he actually is the one that constructed Madison Street that goes from Puget Sound all the way down here. That's his street. So if you're complaining about crosswalks, go to McGilvra. He's the guy that lets you down. He's also the person that put in the cable car that used to go through. And when he did that, that really brought the people down to Madison Park. And this is, this became the place to go to. If you look at the pictures, there was like a dock house. There were, the ferries would come here. There was actually a baseball team that played down here, and there were even, you can find images of motorcycle races and horse races down here. So this was the place to go. And then in 1917, we dropped the lake because we did the cut, and that now created our park here by giving us the 9 feet of beach space. So we had that. And then 2 years later, the bathhouse. So this thing has been around for 100 years. In 1922, the Parks Department took over this property, and they've managed it since. And it's still the same as it kind of was then. And so, moving on, if you look at the city of Seattle, we have doubled in the people that live here. So we're now at 750,000 people in the city of Seattle. And yet this space hasn't really changed that much. And I think this is an opportunity to put us on that timeline of this is an opportunity for us to do something great that people will remember. And to that end, we were going to do all these focus groups and get more information. And then Octavia came along and she started this garden tour, and she met Mr. Scanduzzi, and he owns Scanduzzi Krebs, which is an organization that's specifically about helping nonprofits and capital improvements. And as you can see, I guess it's kind of grayed out here, it's kind of hard to see, but they provide an expertise in what we would need to do in order to basically redo this area. And one of the big things he talked about is the importance of, in order to get the funds to do something as big as we want to do here, it's going to require that we make a very big tent. We can't just stay here locally. We're not going to be able to get the funds. But then again, Madison Park is just, everybody comes from Seattle here. So as long as we make this tent inclusive to those communities and encourage them and create a vision that has that emotion and emotional connection, then the community will get behind it. And when you get that community behind it, then you can also get like, you know, somebody like Schultz or somebody else like that who wants to get involved. And so that's the direction they want us to help us go. And so we have a meeting set up with them sometime in May to kick this off. And then simultaneously, Octavia has also been meeting with a architect. And so we've engaged with, what is their name, Sullivan Designs. And what they've already looked at, they've taken a look at the property to try to figure out what can be done with this property. They're looking at the rules and requirements around this area. They definitely see, in its current state, we would probably have to get some sort of appeasement to get to allow stuff to happen. But we're going to go sit down with the city and kind of have those discussions. Because again, waterfront and how high we can go, all those kind of things are up for discussion. So that's kind of like the update about what we've been doing. The other thing I wanted to bring out, so our next steps are we're going to meet with the city. We're also going to kick off our meeting with Krebs, and then like everybody else here, we want more people on the committee. Right now, we're kind of a small group, and some of us have already, you know, life has already taken their cycles away. Poor Michael couldn't show up to one. So we're trying to we want to have more people involved so we can get more diverse opinions, especially when we're going to be working with this other company. We want to make sure that we get everybody's voice here heard. So that's about it. Octavia, do you want to share anything else?
Yeah, what are we doing? What's your goal?
Our goal is to have a community center, and because our goal, now we still have to have our vision, we still have to figure that out, but is going to need to be broader than probably just a facility. Like if we just had a community center, I don't think that's going to reach all of Seattle. So I think we need to improve this waterfront here and make it a little more accessible, kind of bring it up to current standings, you know. Like I shared with some of the people, Maidenbauer over there, they just did a massive redesign. They're connecting it to the city of Bellevue. Now, they're in a different state and state of situation. And they put in probably more cement than we would want here. But you know, if we terrace things, it wouldn't be kind of like, you know, the grass wouldn't be burning out, and you know, we could do some really nice things to improve this area. And then, of course, this facility, 100 years old, needs a little bit of love.
What are you gonna do about parking?
That's a great question. We currently don't have any, you know, we're still at the very beginning. Parking is certainly a concern.
In my opinion, that needs to be upward. It's tough enough in the summer to find a parking space,
Yeah.
especially if you live right here. And I would have a hard time supporting something that didn't give you appropriate parking.
Great feedback. Maybe we can put the cable car back in.
We could tear up Madison for the bus lanes and put the trolley back.
Exactly. Yes.
I think a lot of people like it to be a neighborhood place and not something that the whole city comes down here.
But the whole city already comes down.
Well, but there
Not make
are
it as appealing.
other neighborhood places here, and Maidenbauer is right next to downtown Bellevue. It's a little different.
Great feedback.
I'm not sure that the people that live within a few blocks want this to be a big citywide park.
Yeah, and I'm kind of on the same vein. I mean, in the summer, the park is so packed. I mean, the locals don't have a place to go. And I don't know what or how to deal with that, and because they come in by the bus loads.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, if we make improvements here, it's good for our area too, right? If we make it more attractive for people that come from other, it's good for us. Something to keep in mind. I mean, we could just let it. No?
Deteriorate. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Kevin's just trying to keep, you know, improve it not only for people that come down here, because people do come down in the summer, but also for the people that live here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna benefit disproportionately from any improvement.
How did do you know how Maidenbauer got the funding to do what they did?
I don't offhand. I do know it was I think it was like 10 years or something like that, and, so it's not a quick turnaround, and like I said, they're gonna take it and they're making it basically almost like a bike lane walking path all the way back into the city of Bellevue. So it's really it's a cool thing that they're doing. Yes?
So 2 questions, and you're probably gonna point me back to the fact that you're just at the very beginning and you're working on the vision, but I'm just wondering functionally what you're thinking about for this space. Like, what do you want people to actually come in here and do, or are we just at the beginning of thinking about it?
I think we're way at the beginning. We've definitely had, conversations about like, having a meeting space like this where we're not, tied up, where we have to wait for somebody to open the door, like if, we definitely want a space for kids after school, like after school type functions.
Nice.
It would be nice if there was a meeting room for smaller committees to get together. I mean, a yoga room, like just that kind of stuff that we're familiar with in other community centers. But we want to have a place where we can bring in the community and kind of like this is like the hub that we go from. That's what the desire would be, but again, it's still trying to figure out the vision of it.
Sure. And my second question is, as you go about trying to create the vision, because a lot of things will cascade down from that, is there somebody that you have that's gonna be helping you, that's very experienced in helping?
The company
The
that,
company.
they, and what we've signed with them is basically we have agreed to work with them for 3 months to see if we, make progress and are going the direction that we want to go. And then after 3 months, we'll decide if that, works out.
Super, thank you.
Yeah.
I noticed that the Green Lake just had a community boathouse open up there. I don't know if there's any learnings that we can get from their process, but that's a pretty cool facility. It seems like they partner with a lot of like organizations and, for that effort. So
That's great food. The other thing I noticed is they had some massive plan to redo their house too. And I don't know what happened to that because I haven't seen any work go on that. So I'll look into that. Thank you.
Well, I should add to this is that the architectural firm, Stephen Sullivan Design, that we have been talking with, I met with the firm today. They had given us back some feedback for zoning restrictions. Obviously, we're on the shoreline. Obviously, we're in the parks. And whatever would happen in this building would need to be more than 50% water dependent. And what that translates to, we think, is that the lower part of this building is where storage is kept for the lifeguards and that sort of thing. The lower part of this building could potentially go back much further and potentially house more water-related sport equipment, like kayaks or paddleboards, that sort of thing. It is, Kevin is emphasizing, this is very much the beginning of process, and it will be a long process where there will be a number of focus groups that we will want to get everyone's feedback, and as many people as we can get. And it is likely, if it comes to pass, probably not every part of it is going to satisfy everyone in the neighborhood, but we sure are gonna come as close as we can to making it seem like a hub and a benefit for our neighborhood. But with the reality that public spaces are open and should be open to everyone in Seattle, that probably will bring me to the One Seattle plan that we want to discuss tonight too. That's kind of at the end of the agenda, but I think I've gotten a fair bit of information on that, which seems to partner in some ways with what we want to do for our neighborhood here. So,
Let's table that.
yeah, let's table that. Music in the park. Yes.
Okay, what did I say? Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Emily. I am working on the Music in the Park series. This is our second year coming back post-COVID, so we're really excited to have the series coming back. It was a great success last year. We are fast and furious in the planning stages right now. We've got all of our bands, we've got our lineup all selected, so we've got, the salsa band that played last year, Buena Vibra, is coming back. The Dads are coming back, then we've got 3 new bands coming this year. One is called Red 28, and they're kind of a pop funk band. We have a band called Motley Traffic coming. They are a rock funk band. And then we've also got the Locals, which is a kind of rock and roll, I think 50s, 60s, 70s, and on. So really excited to have those bands coming. It's every Thursday in August, so that's 5 Thursdays this year. What my ask is similar to what you've heard. We need volunteers. We'd love to have a few more folks on our planning committee, and then we'll also need some day of volunteers, which we'll, bring on once we get closer to those events. We're also looking for sponsors. That is a big piece of making this a success. So if you have any ideas for sponsors, they've been mostly local businesses, but could be person, family. Please let me know, let someone on the committee know, and we can reach out. That is kind of our linchpin right now that we're looking for. What else? We're hoping to bring a stage this year so we can give the bands a little bit more stability than just the grass. And yeah, that's all I have, I think.
We have one more of our Tuesday TED Talks. This one I'm really excited about, and I think it's particularly valuable.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ireland. This is our last Tuesday TED Talk, and it's in 2 weeks from tomorrow, right here. If you have not been to any of the TED Talks, this is the one to go to. If you have any curiosity in your blood, any wonderment about the universe, this is the one to go to. This is the professor. He was the entire head of the University of Washington Department of Astronomy. He was one of the people that helped design the Hubble telescope. He has photos of the James Webb telescope he's going to be showing us and talking about what this means for the universe. He's also one of the people who found the black hole in our solar system, in our galaxy. So he's tremendous. Bruce Balick. The doors open 6:30. It's $15. I highly recommend it.
We also, for the first time, Carrie, there's Carrie. We have a story time coming up for little ones in the neighborhood. So, come on.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Carrie, and I moved to the neighborhood in September with my son, who's now 20 months old, and husband. And we come to co-op. We love co-op. We love all the events that have been happening. But I thought having a little park story time would be fun, since a lot of the libraries around here don't have story times anymore. So on Saturday, I'm going to host the first one, and if it goes well, maybe we'll do another one. We'll have songs and stories. I'm a longtime teacher, so I don't need any volunteers, but if you want to come or have little kids, you're welcome to come. We have a contingency plan of coming in here if it's super rainy, because it's all soggy. But come, bring blankets, sit on the ground, and it's about half an hour. It should be fun. Oh, it's at 10:30. The theme is friends, so to meet some new friends, hopefully. So,
What's the age range?
0 to 5, but if they're older kids, they could come too, but it's more little. Yeah. Yes.
Or is there a price? I'm sorry.
No, it's free. It's just in the park, or if it's not in the park because it's raining, it'll just be in here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do want to interject a little bit going out of order before we get to it. Thank you. We are starting to put together our fall fundraiser. It's called Party for the Park, and it's going to be October 12th and we're going to be at the Seattle Tennis Club for the event. We are very much in the planning stages, but I love the save the date idea. If you can put it on your calendar for October 12th, if there'll be an auction, a silent auction, a live auction, entertainment, and just, and you just break into song. That's great. Anyway, there's a lot more that will be coming your way, but I just thought if you could save the date. Good to know that it's coming. So, One Seattle Plan. I feel a little bit out of this because I missed that Mayor Harrell's office had put out what's called a One Seattle Plan, a draft One Seattle Plan. And I got a couple of emails from different neighbors asking me if I knew how this impacted Madison Park. So One Seattle Plan is part of a comprehensive planning system that the city every 10 years institutes a new comprehensive plan that is stretching out 20 years. So the one that's in existence now will lapse in 1935. So here we are, we're working on a new Seattle plan that will go out to 1945 and finally.
20.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. All right, I know, I'm in the right century. Okay, so the impact, every neighborhood in the city is going to, has been looked at for this new One Seattle plan. And I went to an information meeting last week at Eckstein Middle School, and quite a crowd showed up. That particular meeting was more focused on their district, which is District 4. We are considered District 3. And what they are talking about, what the city is looking at, is having what they call a neighborhood center. And the neighborhood center is affordable housing within walking distance to transportation and to the business district. Neighborhood centers, according to the plan, are looking at apartment rentals, affordable housing, improved public spaces, community centers, a number of transportation that is readily available, cultural centers, things, all those different things. Yeah, kind of jumping from place to place. I spoke to one of the people this is from the Department of Planning and Community Development. I asked them specifically, so what does this look like in Madison Park? It's really difficult to get any sort of concrete answers because this is the first draft. It also, it is still open for commentary, comments from the public. What a neighborhood center could potentially look like is the highest would be a 6-story building. Or with retail at the base. So I'm not sure exactly where this goes. The location in Madison Park is going down toward the waterfront, up to 42nd, up the business corridor. The city, this is my understanding, so I'm still new at this and we're all still trying to figure this out. The city would not condemn any property in order to put in a 6-story building, but if you had a developer who came in who wanted to replace existing buildings within this zone area, then if they wanted to bring in affordable housing, the city would help with levies to support a building that provided affordable housing with retail underneath. So there's like no particular building that they're looking at, no particular street that they're looking at. I know one concern that had come up was, well, if we're within 80 feet of rapid transit or a bus line, are we potentially going to have our building refurbished as a 6-story building. And, but my understanding from talking to the city official the other day is it is within, a regular bus stop is not considered part of that rapid transit transportation. So rapid transit is coming to Madison Valley.
Yeah.
Madison Valley is one of the areas where, it is also one of the areas they're looking at for these neighborhood centers as well as Madison Parks. The upside that I see, as we're talking about whether or not we're going to improve our community center, improve our beach area, is that is part of the plan for this new One Seattle plan. They want to support public spaces being improved. They want to support having community centers that are within walking distance of the neighborhood. We are one of the few neighborhoods, honestly, in the Seattle area that does not have a community center. So I have also reached out to them to have a discussion of how they might be supporting financially and with expertise if we wanted to improve our beach area, our parks, and have a community center. So there are a lot of questions here. The one thing that I would say is you can go on this QR code, you can go on their website. There are places for us to add our own comments. The deadline for this first draft happens to be May 2nd, so it's coming up really fast. One of the things that they're promoting is affordable apartments to rent. We have the Edgewater, which is a really large complex, which most of these other neighborhoods don't have that. I would say, it's always arguable, is the Edgewater still affordable housing? But comparatively speaking, it seems to be. And so there are the Edgewaters, there are a number of apartment complexes in our neighborhood that fit what they would call the parameters of affordable housing. Obviously, this is an expensive neighborhood as well. So there is a balance to be made there, but I would encourage you, if you want to look over the One Seattle plan, if you want to put in a comment, please do right away. There will be a second round of comments that will be taken in the fall as well. So they'll take the commentary that they're getting now, work on it over the summer, and then in September there'll be a second round.
How do you comment?
So you can go on, you scan this, or you can go on their website, and there is a place for you to be able to.
What website?
It is,
Engage
the
One
office,
Seattle.
it's One Seattle Plan, just put in
Engage.
One Seattle Plan, and it will take you there.
And who reviews the?
So the Department of Planning and Community Development is the department that is running this. It goes not only through them, and I don't know all of the bureaucracy of this, but it's not only theirs, but it's the Department of Transportation and the mayor's office. It's, yeah.
You said the plan goes from 25 to 35, or from 35 on?
It runs for 20 years.
Okay.
So in
So
2020.
this new plan is gonna start to take effect in 35.
Yes, that's probably, it may start, it's hard to know when it ever takes place or how soon. I don't know really the
I'll be
answer.
long enough.
So there, some of us may, but it's their way, and I think it makes sense that the city every 10 years revisits, especially as we are growing in such leaps and bounds in this city. How do we control growth, and what does it look like, and how do we keep the city having affordable housing? So I think the intention is a good one. I think for each pocket neighborhood that is impacted by it, I think the neighbors need to step forward and either give comments supporting or concerns. So this is a tiny window that we have right now to be able to do that. Yes?
So we're talking about the city's thinking of eminent domain.
No, they're not.
No.
So, I'm sorry, let me make that clear.
Oh,
Yes, that was my first question. Are you gonna come in and condemn one of the apartment buildings here in order to put in a 6-story building? No, they will not. They won't touch any of that. What they say, if a developer comes in now and they buy up a building or a small section of homes, they're gonna turn around now and build something that every unit is, $2 million or whatever. What their plan is, if a developer comes in and they are willing and interested in putting in affordable housing, the city will help to underwrite that with something that they buy. But they have no control they don't have control over who the developers are. They don't have any control over who the property owner is, and they will not condemn any property. Okay? Does anybody have other questions? I mean, it is the beginning again of a long process, but I appreciate whoever, maybe somebody who's here, who emailed me about it. Thank you, because I had missed it. And it's obviously going along at a good clip, and I got a couple of other emails, so I guess there was an article in the Seattle Times that I missed about it. And it does, it potentially is a big impact in our neighborhood. So being aware and staying in tune, and I have asked for a meeting with the Department of Planning and Community Development to get a little more details about Madison Park. So hopefully I'll have more as we go along. Yes.
Octavia, you're saying it's from here to 42nd? That's the zoning area that they're choosing?
Well, it's a little hard, will you go back to the map? It's a little hard, no, not story time, not Bruce. So one more over. So, I'll come over and, it's a little hard to read, obviously on this, and it's even a little bit harder to see it, but if this map was blown up, and I do have some hard copy here, you can see, it looks like, well, we live on 43rd, for example.
Right.
Looks like potentially it could go to 43rd.
How far down, how far? I mean, what's the?
Well, it's not very far. It's within,
The
it's
commercial
really
district?
close, if you're very close to the business district, you potentially are getting, you're potentially in their zone.
And then
of a
how far
neighborhood
west?
center. How far west?
Up Madison?
It went up through the business district.
All the way through? I
Yes.
thought- So up to McGilvra?
Yes.
So it's from here, basically here, 43rd, up to McGilvra,
Yes.
and then within the zoning, current zoning of commercial around?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if it includes multifamily.
I don't know the answer to that.
Right. And
So-
what's interesting is there's height restrictions, that's why there's no tall buildings. It's one of the
Right.
beauties of Madison Park, is that they
Right.
don't have 6-story buildings.
And I think that's one of the unknowns for us as well. So much of statewide zoning regulations, city zoning regulations have been changing. You know, the ADU, the
Right.
EADU, the more dense population growth. So I don't know how that impacts the zoning.
So one last question to that, if you decide to do it, if a developer came in tomorrow and decided to do that and bought up the property and so on and so on, you don't have to wait till 2035 to implement this.
Well, this
is that
plan
correct?
is not in place yet. There's no, this is, as I say, this is called draft one
Okay.
Seattle plan. And there's probably, and there will be a second draft.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's sometime in 2025 is when it gets implemented.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
This is related, that's why I was going to ask after her. Is there any flexibility
is there any flexibility? Can you go higher than 6 stories?
No, lower.
Can you go lower than 6 stories?
Yeah, I mean, it,
Yes.
is 6 stories set in stone, or
No.
can they change it to 4?
They haven't even
Yeah,
defined it.
it's not even.
It's not even
I
set in
know
stone.
that, but that's why I'm asking.
Well, I
Are they
think they-
flexible at all?
I think at this point, they have come up with different designs depending on the neighborhood, on how many stories might be added or what the new configuration might be. It's all up, it's all up in the air now. Yes.
Perhaps somebody from the city, from the department that you're talking about, could come to one of these meetings and
I would love to
answer
have
everybody's
that.
questions, because it's too hard for you, you don't, you know.
Yeah.
It's not your plan, you know.
Well, I am hoping that, and this probably wouldn't happen until September either, but I am I'm gonna see if I can't get in to see somebody at the department. We also wanna have Joy Hollingsworth come and speak. We're hoping to get more engagement from the city. people. Well, I hope that's not a bummer note to end on, but,
Garden tour.
Garden tour. Anyway, but I think it's important to have the information. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you. Thank you.